I'm going to go through how to use prime factorization to find the greatest common factor and the least common multiple of two numbers. So we're going to use 28 and we're going to use, let's go with 16. Okay, so we want to find the greatest common factor and least common multiple. The first thing we have to do is find the prime factorization or the prime factors of each of these numbers. So we're going to start with 2 times 14, this is prime, 2 times 7, those are both prime, 2 times 2 times 7, this is 2 times 8, prime, times 4, 2 times 2. Okay, so if you don't know how to use prime factorization or don't know how to do prime factorization, make sure you look at my other videos on how to do that, prime factorization and prime factorization 2. That'll show you a more detailed way on how to do this. Okay, but once you have your prime factors, we're just going to compare them. So what we're looking for are numbers that are the same between both lists. So the first thing is they have a 2. So I'm going to cross it off on this side and on this side, and I'm going to write it one time underneath. Then we ask ourselves, do they have anything else in common? Well, they have another 2. So we're going to write it, cross it off on both sides, write it one time underneath. Okay, if they don't have anything else in common, then we, to find the greatest common factor, just have to multiply these two together. Okay, so our greatest common factor would equal 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay, now if we want to find the least common multiple, we're going to circle the ones that are left over that we haven't crossed off yet in our prime factor lists for each number. And we put those on the end along with how we found our greatest common factor. So 2 times 2 times 7 times 2 times another 2. Okay, so then we'll go through. 2 times 2 is 4 times, this is 4, this is 4. So 7 times 4 is 28. Times another 4, so 28 times 4 is 112. So our least common multiple is 112. Okay, let's go through another example. So I'm going to erase this. I would encourage you to pause the video when I write down the problem and see if you can do it, and then check your work by seeing how it matches up to mine. So we're going to use 12 and let's go with 20. We want to find the greatest common factor and the least common multiple of both of these. So the first thing we're going to do is use prime factorization to find the prime factors of each number. So now that we have the prime factors of each number, we're going to compare them. So what do they have in common? Well, I see that they have a 2 on each side that are common, so we're going to cross it off on both sides and write it one time. They have another 2 in common, so we're going to cross it off on both sides and write it one time. And that's all that they have in common. So the greatest common factor is 2 times 2, which is 4. And then to find least common multiple, we circle the ones that we haven't used or crossed off, and we make sure to add those down here. So 3 and 5. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12, times 5 is 60. So our least common multiple is 60. And that's how you find the greatest common factor and least common multiple of two numbers.